First, before we get going here, I want to introduce Les' grandchildren who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all just stand up for a second. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm just here to say thank you to all of you for being here in support of Les. And I say that in a very self-serving way because I need help, okay? We're down to 4 members in the state Senate. We serve right now the Republican caucus. We are the minority in the most lopsided legislative body in the United States of America right now. With the exception of Hawaii. The state Senate in Hawaii, 22 members, 1 Republican. And they did allow a rules change there where the 1 Republican can make a motion with his left hand and he seconds it with his right hand. That's true. Everybody laughs. It's a true story. It hasn't gotten that bad here, but it's bad on a continual basis. And I've been on Beacon Hill for a while now. And just speaking for that particular chamber, speaking for the Senate, things have never been worse in the entire time I've been up there. Democrats on a continual basis, almost on a weekly basis, run roughshod over the rules. Decorum is out the window, and they run roughshod over the taxpayers. And we've seen that especially under this current administration, and a willing legislature that goes along with every cockamamie idea that comes out of the Patrick administration, and they sweep every problem that the Patrick administration originates under the rug. And we need more balance. The media is asleep. We're going to rely on individual voters to get the message out more than ever because the media is asleep. And I know firsthand from watching Les when he was lobbying for some important legislation that you all are aware of, what a great job he did as a citizen legislator. He took it upon himself. He took it upon himself to change the state. And I think at the same time, and he'll probably tell you this, at the same time, I'm pretty sure he got an education as to how things work on Beacon Hill, and it wasn't like it was in the textbooks.
How it doesn't work. How it doesn't work. Unfortunately, the way it works usually is for the insiders to the detriment of the taxpaying public. So we got an important task ahead of us. I know it's not going to be easy. I was born here in Quincy, bought my first home here in Quincy, operated a business here in Quincy. And obviously we've got Rockland, we've got Abington, and where else? Braintree.
How can I forget Braintree? I've got a business. I have a restaurant there, by the way, over in Braintree. But very important, get out, talk to your friends and neighbors, give Les the kind of help he needs. It's great to sit around and commiserate and have a glass of wine, but we got to hit the streets. And Bob McKay told me tonight he's going to open up his checkbook and write out a big check for Les.
All right.
So Les is his accountant. So let's get going on this race. We got a great candidate here, and it's amazing to me. We actually have an adult running for the legislature. It's awesome. It's awesome. I can't even say that I was an adult when I got elected, but over time I think I became one somewhat. But it's my honor to actually kick this back to Jeff, who's going to have the honor of introducing our candidate that we're all here for. And I want to apologize. I can't stay and enjoy the revelry afterwards because I've got to get to a League of Women Voters event. So.
Well, thanks, Senator Hedlund. I've never seen cameras like this here. We've got a steady cam here. I feel like, is Mark Wahlberg coming at some point? Got a big shoot going on? Okay. It is, right? Bob makes a great point. Not just an adult running for the state Senate, but a CPA that's running for the Senate. We have one accountant in the legislature. His name's Randy Hunt from the Cape. He's in the House with me, and he sits in the row in front of me. And I got to be honest with you, it's like when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. If people in the chamber all of a sudden have a question about taxes, everybody's head turns. The entire room turns to hear what Randy gets up and says. And that's the thing. They really don't come from a background of financial management and accountability. And that's why Les will make an excellent, person in the Senate. But beyond that, and I want to thank Les too for the work on the gas tax. If you don't know, gas tax is now being indexed to inflation, so it's going to go up automatically every year without a vote. We need to repeal that because that's really not the way the legislature is supposed to work. And Les opened his office, spent a lot of time and had a lot of people here helping to make sure we got the signatures we needed to make the ballot. So I want to thank him for that as well. But really, I think everybody here knows when I first got into office, it was Melissa's bill. Melissa's bill was probably the most impactful law that passed while I've been in office, because it cut across party lines and it came right down to what's right for our families, protecting our children. I've got 2 daughters. I couldn't imagine the 13 years that Les spent going up to Beacon Hill all the time. There was times when I'd punch in the morning to my office and I'd see Les in the lobby looking to see which legislators were checked in for the day so we could go to their office and talk to them. He was up there all the time. And when we finally passed it out of the legislature, the governor wasn't sure he was going to sign it. He wanted to have the safety clause or a safety valve so that potentially allowing judges to make a change, even though the ruling should be mandatory after 3 or more violent offenses. And the governor still wanted flexibility. But Les met with him personally, made sure he didn't waver, and he did that as Bob said, as a citizen, not as a legislator. So can you imagine the influence he's going to have in the chamber when he actually has the ability to vote and lobby people as a colleague and not just a citizen? This is why it's so inspiring to be here today, to see so many people. This is a huge kickoff, by the way. I mean, I'm so impressed. But
good evening. To be trusted is more important than to be loved. There is a crisis of trust in America, and that crisis in trust ends tonight. There are many people who live lives to envy, but there are very few people who live lives to admire. There are some people who live lives to be prized, but there are few people that live lives to be praised. My friend Les Gosule has lived a life to be admired, not one to be envied at all. He's lived a life to be praised and not one to be prized. When things don't make sense to average, common, hardworking people, something sinister is afoot. And very few people step out and show the courage to stop whatever sinister activities are going on or things that don't make sense. Melissa's Law is history, it's tradition. There's an enormous story about that horrific tragedy, unspeakable tragedy. But what comes out from that tragedy is somebody who demonstrates the kind of virtues that we look for every day in this country, and it seems to be less and less. When people face this kind of horrific incident in their lives or face death personally, I think something happens, that we tend to suspend all embarrassment. We stop feeling embarrassed about doing the right thing and stopping the nonsense that we see. It's a call to courage. All great living commences with a person's quiet realization that he or she will never, ever again play the coward's role. Les Gosule is a demonstration of not playing the coward's role and taking on the institutions over a 13-year fight to do what is right. Well, that is now in his DNA and in his spirit, and good things are going to come about from this. You know that to be true. Les is qualified to be a great state senator from the Commonwealth. As a CPA, he understands money and knows when money is used in a loving, admirable way, and he knows when money is used for political pandering and for nonsense and for graft. CPAs just know this by intuition. As one, we're just cynical about everything, and that cynicism is a virtue in leadership. It absolutely is. He knows when money is being used for nonsense, and that skepticism is going to be a virtue for all of us. As a CPA, he meets with clients all day long, and he hears from these hardworking families about how they try to live lives to honor their promises to their loved ones, how they want to take total personal responsibility and never be a burden to anybody else, but they're piled on by excessive taxes and piled on by excessive regulations and judicial decisions that don't make any sense. And it takes a lot of work to stay grounded in doing what's right. And CPA Les sees this every day in his practice and empathizes with them as he has in his own life. Les is a businessman. Les believes that the purpose of business is to make people's lives better, period. I present to you Les Gosule, Republican candidate for Senate for the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I am honored to be among so many friends tonight, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Really, I appreciate it. You know, it was a little scary before tonight started because I was talking to people, and they said, well, how many people are going to show up? I said, I don't really know. But if 4 people show up, I'm going to leave because, you know, it's kind of embarrassing when 4 people show up. So thank you all for being here. For 13 years, I fought an incredible battle, as you know, to make the Melissa bill Melissa law. For 13 years, we fought and I fought with dedicated people. And really, before I go too far, there's a couple of dedicated people that should be mentioned before I go too far. One's Larry Uchin. I don't know, Larry's in this room. I don't know where Larry is. Larry Uchin was one of those people at the very beginning in 1999. My daughter was murdered in July of 99. Larry and I went up to see Governor Salucci's office with Mike Sullivan, who was the DA at the time, down in Brockton. And we went up there and we actually presented two bills at that time. One was the search and rescue bill, which is another story, and then the habitual offender bill. So Larry was with me at the beginning. During that 13-year period of time, we fought the criminal justice system because the criminal justice lobby was against the bill. We fought an inept Congress, the State House that was unbelievable in terms of what they said for 13 years. But finally, we brought the pressure, we brought the public pressure, people in this room, a lot of people in this room, the public pressure up to bear upon the legislature. And they finally passed the bill. And at the end, when they finally passed it, as Jeff Deal said, the bill passed sort of in the secret of the night. They didn't want really anybody to know this bill was really passing. The governor sat with me, if Jeff Deal said, and he said, you know what, I really want to pass this bill, but I want certain amendments in this bill. We won't get into what they were, but Jeff kind of mentioned a little bit of them. I said to the governor, Governor Patrick, I really want to see amendments in this bill. I think you're right. But you know what, Governor? I do not want any amendments that you want. He was floored. That took place in the corner office. He was floored. He hasn't spoken to me since. It's okay with me. It's really okay with me. It's okay with me. It took 13 years to wake up the State House to something that was a common sense bill, a no-brainer. Going back again to what was said earlier. I don't get it. Someone's got to explain this to me. Upskirting took less than 48 hours to pass, all right? But to protect our children, protect women who are being stabbed, people who are being murdered, that took over 13 years. Where's the logic in that? How did you rationalize that? Upskirting, we're going to stop right away. But if you're getting killed, we'll wait 13 years. It doesn't matter. It's all right. It's okay. After the bill was finally passed, after 13 years, it got me to realize something. Our State House is broken. It's flawed. The value systems are upside down, or they don't exist, or they're void of value. I'm not really sure. Probably is void of value. And it made me wonder about how that could be. And sort of connects a little bit to Melissa. Some of you know the story of Melissa in more detail than others, but Melissa was a very personal person. She cared about people. And it occurred to me that if I want to do something to honor my daughter, wouldn't it be really great to give that back to society? Leave some positive footprints. Give that back in honor of my daughter. The State House is broken, and they've been broken for a long time. They keep taxing us more for their mismanagement. They fail to pass budgets on time. We've had corruptions. We had speakers that spend more time in jail than they do at Dunkin' Donuts. It's amazing. I mean, I don't know how, what do we have, 3 or 4 states that they keep spending time in jail? This is really, really important. It is time for the government to work for people, not against people, because that's what the state of Massachusetts has done. They're working against us. I want them to work for us, and that's what we got to do. All right? Work for us. That's my why of why I'm running for election. My why is I want the government to be for us. They have a fiduciary obligation. They take our money, they put it into trust, they put it into someplace, and they're supposed to be using it wisely. And I think if you look at what's happening in the state budget over the years, and you look how money is being spent, you look at what the flaws at welfare, you look at the flaws in family services, you look at what's happening to our children, you look at the fact that we have a governor, if he is that, but he says he is, he's in the corner office, he has the name, but the idea that we want to give licenses to over 200,000 illegal people, where's our sense of responsibility? We need new leaders in the State House who have the courage to stand up to the status quo and demand change. All right? I've done it from the inside. The simple truth is that our state has created a hostile arena for business. And I think it's about time that we do something about that. Regulations and taxes are killing small businesses. The idea is to encourage growth, not to have growth leave, not to leave businesses leave. Jeff Deal mentioned earlier about the gas tax for the roads. We don't need it. This state has a huge surplus. We don't need any more tax revenue. And if we're going to make the roads better and we're going to increase taxes, all we're going to do is have better roads for people to leave on. That's all we're going to do. I'm honored to have your support. I thank you for joining me tonight. And please elect me as your new senator. Thank you.